Hello, I'm Skid from WildScreen Gaming Forum. Today I'm going to be giving you a look at WildStar Online. WildStar Online is an MMORPG with a sci-fi setting. The business model for this game is going to be very much reminiscent of Eve Online. There's an upfront payment and then a subscription model, or you can buy effectively time in-game from other players who can buy that with real money. So it's a very similar system that Eve is going to work as. But let's get straight into it. So first things first, graphic settings. Now the game is horizontal plus by default. It has picked up my actual resolution right here. There are three modes. They've actually changed it. They used to have these a weird way around, but they've changed them back to what they should be. You've got Windows, borderless window, and full screen window. Other than that, you have fairly standard options for an MMO. So you've got view distance and such things, texture qualities, and all of this lot here. Now I have anti-aliasing turned off as low as I can get because performance in this game isn't that great at the moment, and I don't think I'm getting any benefit at all from my SLI. I can mitigate that to some degree by reducing the render resolution, but if I basically lower it, what it's actually doing is lowering the internal resolution, so you might be able to see there, it pixelates it more, because it's actually lowering the resolution that it renders to and then upscales it, which does give a decent performance boost, but I think that actually takes effect in the game. It does give a decent performance boost, but it does make it look a lot worse. But yeah, fairly standard options here. Most of them aren't making a massive amount of difference at the moment for me, and I think it's just badly optimized at the moment. Then you've got lots and lots of other configuration options. So these are for nameplates down here, I think. Oh no, these are combat options. So it's information given to you while in combat and this sort of thing. But we shall log in, which I've already done. And this is my dude. This is my main character. Now, if we go create characters, they are two different factions. You have the Exiles and the Dominion. And this pretty much is a good and evil. As far as I can tell, there is no ambiguity, or it's something like that, between, or it's like who is good and who is bad. So there's no room for interpretation. The Dominions are supposed to be arseholes. You can read the faction information. The Dominion is a powerful interstellar empire that considers Nexus its rightful legacy and will conquer at all costs. Whereas the Exiles are a gutsy group of refugees, rebels, and mercenaries that have come to Nexus to make a new home because basically they were forced out of their old home by the Dominion. Now, each faction has three different races. All of them have male and female variants, and the races have class locks. So you can only use some classes as some races. Now I've gone for these guys here, the Urin, I think, something along those lines, that are kind of animal-esque, as you can probably see there. Now, they are very much more on the nature side, so they mostly have classes that are more magic type, but because this is futuristic, they still use weapons and guns. My character is actually a spell slinger, but you can see the classes here. You've got warrior, engineer, esper, which I think, where is it? Espers are masters of illusions, attacking enemies with powerful psychic weapons, projectiles, and healing their friends. So yeah, they're kind of magic based as well, but spell slingers are also heavily magic based. But they use specifically guns, and I think espers use these spinny disc thingies. And the last thing is the path you can choose. Now, path doesn't affect anything significant. Well, actually, no, that is entirely wrong. It does affect something significant. The path you choose is primarily there to define your general play style. So you get bonuses for doing particular actions as particular classes. Now, soldiers are there to basically take on combat challenges. So they have access to, I forget what there's a very good video on it. They have access to, it's not arenas, but combat areas that other characters wouldn't generally have access to. Settler, which is the one I picked, they have to collect resources in the world and use it to improve the cities or the outposts. And they do that by constructing things like HP boosts and skill boosts and things like that. So settlers are more your crafters and builders. There is an actual crafting system in the game, but the settlers actually do it in world. Scientists are basically lore fanatics. They get a scan bot and they're just supposed to scan everything and collect as much information as possible, so they get a lot of lore. So scientists are for people who like the lore. And explorers are for people that like to try and climb to the top of mountains and find special areas and things like that. And they can open up particular areas that other people can't, or the other pass can't. And again, they get bonuses for doing that and that sort of thing. So, we shall jump into my current character. Unfortunately, I'm not as far along as I would like to be, but we shall make do. So, if you see in the upper left-hand corner, this is only playing and recording at 25 frames per second. It would actually be playing at around about 30 frames per second at this particular point. This is actually a fairly heavy-hitting area. It drops my frame rate a lot here. Generally speaking, it's probably hovering somewhere between 40, 50 most of the time, just in outside. But if you get into a densely populated area like this, then yeah, it will tank. And it would ordinarily be doing about 30 frames per second around here. So, this is my character. Such that he is. Now, the game, as I said, is horizontal plus, and the UI is partially customizable. Unfortunately, it's not entirely customizable. I've got my nice large chat window open here, and I can open up a bunch of other windows that have actually remembered the locations I put them, which is awesome for a change. I can bring up a map, but unfortunately said map fills the screen, and I can't move it. I can make it ghost mode, but again, I can't move it, so I can't do what I would normally do and have a ghost map over here. Which is a shame, but I think the level of customization it's got here is passable. I can put most of the important things on my center monitor, so I can move my little character window here, I can move my targeted character windows over here as well. They can go anywhere. And the minimap is also movable. This slot over here, which is basically my quest windows, I can't move any of these. I've not found a way to be able to move them. Are there any other things that are not movable? Yeah, I think that mostly covers it. Most things are movable, so chat windows can be moved and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's an MMORPG. It is not quite hotkey based. Basically, these are my only slots that I can have skills in, these 8 here, and I haven't unlocked these 2 yet. I will get that one at a higher level. Does it tell me when? It does not. So yeah, I'll unlock that one at a higher level. The idea is that you would select the skills for a build that you're particularly going for, which basically means that each particular class can be used multiple different ways. A similar sort of way that Rift does it, only not as many skills. There are far fewer skills. But there is a reason for that. The combat system is far more dynamic, and we will get to that in a minute. So, the reason I spawned here is because I believe my next quest marker, which is telling me this guy here, should be down here. Now there is some voice acting in the game, most of it is just character flavor text. Where is he? He's supposed to be in here. Yeah. He's missing his icon above his head. There we go. Now, one very big issue that I've had with this game so far, you see all of these they're effectively in-world icons, basically icons that hover over a particular item in world, so name tags. This speech bubble here and a little way back over here. Let me just turn around and go back. There was an item up here that had a settler icon on it. Yep, this thing here. These icons currently have a habit of disappearing entirely. And
are you a friend of the forest? Prove it and help me out here.
And his name tag is obscure in his text, but fortunately it's over in the window down here. So yeah, you will notice that sooner or later most, if not all of these, will just disappear. Can I not speak to him here? I guess not. Did I miss something? We have made a home here. I'm guessing I've got to go find him, and he's probably outside. Now, what I did there, you'll notice a great big arrow appeared on screen. What you can do is you can click any of your active quests, and it will give you an arrow telling you where that quest is. Unlike, so like on other MMOs, where it will just tell you the area that the quest is performed in. Yeah, I've got to go meet him. It'll just tell you the area the quest is performed in. This one will actually actively tell you that it's like you have to go this away that many meters. So my next set of quests is in that direction. Now, should I show you crafting now while I'm here? There is a proper crafting system in this game, so while I'm here I may as well show you it. Gathering there are gathering skills. You can basically have a total of 2 crafting and or gathering skills. Basically any 2 of these, they're called trade skills. I've gone for survivalist, which allows me to collect more meat, skins and trees and logs. And for that I have a tool equipped, which is just a chainsaw. And basically to use that I just find a node and click it. There's nothing special about that. The architect is the actual trade skill that I've gone for, the crafting skill. Now, to use crafting skills, you basically need to find one of these terminals and you use it, and it will bring up standard crafting window, and you select which one of these you want to create. Now, how many resources have I got? I need to make one of those, I believe, at least one of those. Obtain Garrock fences. So I can't actually do that one yet because I've got to level this up all the way down to here, but fortunately I think this one, obtain metal platforms, I can do once because it's going to take me 2 metal and I don't have much in the way of metal. Yeah, so I can make this once. So if we load schematic into the crafting terminal, it brings up this window, which again can be moved around, and we start crafting. Now there is a little bit of a minigame here, as this might be apparent. Now, what I can tell, or from what I can tell, you can successfully craft so long as you can move the cursor to anywhere in this center of the ring. There's basically an area that is defined as a successful craft, and you have to get the icon there for it to craft. Now, I need to obtain 60 metal platforms rather than metal planks. Now, metal platforms are these things here. Now, in order to craft this, I have to move the crafting icon specifically there, and I have 3 moves in which to do it. Now, fortunately, this one's particularly easy, but there are these 4 icons around here, and these are denoted of these functions, synthetics, aesthetics, and organics. Now, adding one of these to the crafting item will basically move the cursor towards that direction. And these are basically just filters to allow you to do it more precisely. So the idea is that you add particular elements in order to that looks like a world quest. That should be marked in the map somewhere. If it is, I cannot see it. Public event, no. It might be a world event. Where is that? That's back down there. It might be a notification that a world event is going to start. Anyway, sorry, yeah. So yeah, the idea is that you add or you work on the item using these things here, and the idea is to get the pointer to there. So for this one it's fairly simple. Add an iron screw, add another iron screw, and add another iron screw. Now unfortunately that's going to miss, but I can always do a blinking light instead, and there we go. So I made this variant of this item. So we just craft it, and there we go, 80% complete. So that's basically how crafting works in this. As I said, I'm very early on. I'm only level 12. I don't think there's going to be anything special added to it. So it's basically just a little mini game. It's not quite as complex as... Can I bring up the help window again? I cannot. Yeah, it's not quite as complex as like Final Fantasy. But it's still better than just clicking a button and hoping for the best, which is not a particularly good way to craft. So yeah, that's the crafting system. Other systems that I know are in the game and I cannot show you, there's obviously dungeons, there are raids, and I will get into that, a bit more detail of that a bit later. These little things here, they're basically nodes for settlers to gather. Now, I use these resources to improve areas, and I believe I can improve the area here that I'm coming up to, if I can find the point to do it. Yep, there it is over there. So we're just going to run past the quest marker over there for a second and we'll come over here. Now, these are my depots. So settlers can use these to improve the area. Now, Dark Whispering Cave, I believe I'm in there? Am I in that area? Yeah, it says so there. So, what I can do is I can use the resources that I've collected, if I pull it up, which are these resources here, I've got plenty of them, to add upgrades to this particular area, and then anybody coming here can use these upgrades to boost their character. So, well, let's build the ones that aren't already here. Someone's already had combat speed, so let's build dodge reflexes, critical strike, weapons vendor, weapons tier 2, strip mining gear. Yeah, let's build that one as well. In fact, let's build everything that isn't here just because I've got the resources to do it. And it's not like I'm penalised for doing it, I'm actively encouraged to do it. So there we go. Now I can use all of these devices to give myself boosts. So that's a combat speed boost. What was that? That was an evasion, reflexes boost, critical strike boost, and this is a vendor, which I believe sells weapons. Yes. That weapon is flat out better than mine in every way, but I'm not going to buy it because it's not worth it at this point. But we'll also sell all the junk I've got. So that's junk, that's junk, that's junk. That's a weapon I can't use, that's junk. Don't need that. And I should have put some of that stuff away, and I wanted to break that down. Yeah, I was using these weapons for the longest time. I'm going to break those down. You'll have to pay attention on the upper right, because it should, in theory... maybe I can't break them down. I cannot break that weapon down. Fine, sell it then. There, can't drag and drop it over there. Never mind. There we go. So yeah, that's basically what settlers do for their path systems. There are some more complex ones. There is another thing. Where are we? Somewhere over here. I think it's around about here. I've gone past it. That is basically a group project, and it requires more than one settler to be able to build it. Now, because I've already built this, if another settler came along, what they can actually do is add time to how long these stay up for. Now, as I said, the combat path will basically get challenge areas where they can, or combat challenge areas that other people won't have access to. They also get harder challenges just in terms of fighting. Explorers are rewarded for finding secret areas, and they are the only people that can find some secret areas. And what was the other one? My mind's drawing a blank. I forget what the other one was. Scientists, yeah. Scientists are basically, they get rewards for finding lore in the world, like this here. But they can also then scan any item or any mob, and they can get information on that item or mob, and it will give them detailed information like this. I'm not that into my lore, so not really the path for me.
I await your words with bated breath.
So,
Vitalists preserve us.
quests still follow, by and large, the same sort of
Has always been mine.
pattern that you would get. So some are fetch quests. You have mostly combat quests, kill X number of this, use item on this, pick up all of these, protect this area, protect this person. There isn't actually any... I've not encountered a escort quest yet. Any quest that's asked me to protect somebody, basically I go to an area and then summon them there. So I don't have to lead them there, and then I've just got to defend them.
I want to hug everything I see.
Isn't she a nice person? Unfortunately, a lot of them say that.
I just know you'll make it happen.
Okay, so let's show you some combat. 20 minutes in. Can't be helped. That is not a combat quest. That is a combat quest. Hang on, let me just complete this other quest. It's a push these things in this order quest. I want to do it because it may lead on to a combat quest, and since I'm going to a combat area, I don't want to be double backing. It's a waste of time. Okay. Use this. There are some mini games that occasionally come up to this for this. Complete one data mining session. Transfer, copy, depreciate. Oh! That's an interesting minigame, so... Is this actually working? I'm pressing control and the oh, it's control and F1. Why is it control and F1? It's a simple pattern match minigame. There's a Simon Says game that's come up about 3 times now, 4 times maybe. So I think they're going to reuse these a fair amount. This isn't getting any faster. There we go, thank God I didn't have to do it for the full time. So bring the results back to you, you're standing there.
Tell me everything.
Any of these shields better than mine? I want reef or finesse. No. And they don't give me much extra charge. So you do have standard stats in this, and that's mainly how you progress. I think that's stretched. I haven't quite been able to work that out yet. So she has not given me an extra quest, but there is one down there. Okay, so now that I've leveled up, let's see if we have any more skills. There is actually a window that is just flat out missing. There should be a button here, but it's disappeared because the game shifted it up above the top of my screen, so I can't get it. But basically, it's supposed to bring up this window here, which tells me all of my new features. So that's level 14, that's not this level, that's next level, isn't it? I think. Yeah, that's next level. I get housing at next level. There's no way I'm making 14 in the time that I've got to make this video, so 13 is what I'm looking for. So I have access to 2 new abilities, my attributes have gone up, I've gained 1 amp power and 1 tier point. So that's... no, it doesn't tell you how much your attributes have gone up by, but these are my attributes at the moment. As you can see, my finesse is fairly high because that increases my assault power, which is what my damage is based off of mostly. So let's have a look at our new skills. Ah, that's the window I was trying to bring up. That's basically all of the things that have been added since I was last able to spawn this window, which is a lot of stuff. Oh, I can create a guild. I have no intention of doing that at the moment. So yeah, let's clear all of those, bring up my skills. So I now have 1 ability point, which basically allows me to add an extra point or boost one of my existing skills. There is also amp points, which are used in this grid here to give you general boosts. So at the moment I've got 25 extra assault power, I've got that 3 times, and I've got armor piercing 3 times. I'm saving those up to get to 5 point or 4 points so I can start going into tier 2 assault. So let's see, what do I want to spend my ability point on? My base attack I don't use much. I use that a fair amount, but I also use this a fair amount. This basically jumps me forward, but it also stuns enemies in my path. So upgrading it gives me 1 meter extra range and a very small amount of extra stun duration. Yeah, we'll put it there. You can actually reset your skills in these pretty much instantaneously. Use set. And I believe you can equip multiple sets eventually. I've obviously not got access to that yet. So yeah, but if I clear all, then all of them are reset. So I can then pump them back in. This doesn't reset amp points. You have to pay to reset amp points. So I believe I got access to an extra one of these. How much gold do I have? I have enough to buy them both. So we'll buy that and we'll buy this. What's this one do? Transition into the void for 3.5 seconds. Removes or disables, drops the caster from any creature threat list. Use this ability a second time will cause the caster to exit the void early. Okay, so yeah, that's basically a get out of jail free card, as good a way as any to call it. Not something I probably need at the moment. It's something that will probably be useful in a party when I start getting to dungeons and raids. So yeah, 30 minutes in we'll get to the combat.
Look who just made my day.
Never mind. That's just another one. Activate abilities in this. So I have to find the expedition team, which is that way by 100 meters. And he is gone. He aggroed onto me and ran away. Fair enough.
I have been waiting. I suffer the agonies of intense anxiety.
Collect blood samples from these guys. So, yep. Okie dokie. So, combat system. Now, my class ability is this thing here, Spell Surge. This basically gives special boosts to all of my abilities. What boost it gives varies on the ability. So, for example, Charge Shot. It will reduce the time that it takes to get to a full charge to... where is it? 1.4 seconds. Whereas ordinarily, that's cooldown. Does it say how long it will take? Yeah, 4 or 2.4 seconds, so it cuts a second off of it. This one over here, it actually reduces the charge time to 0 and increases the movement speed reduction. So, as you may have seen as I was hovering over it, it tells me exactly where that's going to hit. And pretty much every single attack in the game other than basic attacks do this. So, we'll activate Spell Surge, we'll charge my charge shot, and we will fire. Now, they describe this, I think they describe this as a XP? That's strange, I've never seen that XP icon before. Yeah, they describe it as basically it's a more active combat system. More active than even Terror is. Yeah. And I used too many of my dodges and I couldn't get out of the way of that. So dodges are pretty much useless against... Am I getting bonus XP? Survivalist XP. Ah, I'm getting XP because they're giving me drops from my survivalist trait. So let's go find some more enemies. Are you on my list? I don't know. You're a tough creature. You are on my list though. So you will die. So yeah, in one-on-one combat, I've not found much use for the ability to be able to run around while effectively shooting, particularly against like AI players or AI characters, mobs rather. Use the correct terminology. Oops. Ouch.
Double kill.
Because if you're just running around, they will just track you quite easily. So even though I can do that, then they will you basically just end up circle strafing each other, and there's no point to it whatsoever. Plus, some of my stronger abilities, like my charge ability, cannot be used. Is that a boss? No, it's just a more deadlier enemy. Collect blood samples from what? Not from those dudes. Not from those dudes. Ah! Camera won't do, lally. So yeah, in one-on-one combat it's not much use, but once you get into dungeons and raids, again, there is a very good video on the WildStar Online YouTube channel that shows raids. Then the telegraph system, this thing that shows you where your attacks are going to go and where the enemy's attacks are coming from, is going to play a massive role, because some of the attack patterns that the bosses have are just insane. And since they're telegraphed and you can see them on the floor, it makes them like a lot easier to dodge around, or supposedly. But it allows them to do a lot more with boss combat and that sort of thing. So let's see if we can find... gathering tree. So yeah, this is basically all gathering is. I use a laser saw and I wait, it cuts down the tree. And then I collect it all. No thrills. From Torin. So let's find the mobs that it's referring to. What it's told me is the mobs are somewhere in that area. Or this area. They may be much deeper into this area. That over there is basically a respawn location. I will respawn there if I die. It's a little annoying that the bug that I've been experiencing pretty much all day isn't working anymore, or happening anymore. The one that makes all my UI disappear. Ah, there they are. So yeah, as you can see there, oh no, these randomly occur. Can I cancel that? Yeah. Yeah, challenges randomly occur in particular areas. There is actually a list of them. They will occur when you start them, but they're a little bit of a pain because a lot of the time I've entered an area where a challenge has started and then there've been no other monsters for that challenge anywhere because either someone else has already killed them or that monster's wandered away. And the way that it starts them is just a bit of a pain because it just starts them instantly rather than asks you if you want to start them. But yeah, the challenges are just another way to spice up the in-game combat. Now, as I did say earlier, you can dodge out of the way of incoming attacks, but you have a limited number of times that you can dodge, which is this here. I don't know if you can increase this any. It's been 2 the entire time I've been playing. Dash controls can be modified in the combat options. 8 meters, double tap. Yeah, it doesn't say. So there may be a way. Oops. Nope. There may be a way in which you can increase the number of times you can dash, but otherwise you can only really do it once. Are there any more of those guys? There must be some more around. I find it highly doubtful that they're the only 4. Or 3. Must be some more. The way you can navigate around the world is actually pretty neat. Although I haven't got a mount yet, so it's still fairly slow. Ah, there'll be this area here. But there are special areas where you can do particular things. It's like some areas will actually give you a jump boost, other areas will give you these mushrooms you can jump on, and if you jump on them they send you flying. Gather the tree while I'm here. So getting around's relatively interesting, and most things that you can see can be climbed because the explorer path exists. Even if you're not supposed to get up there, they still let you. They aren't marked with quest markers. I don't think they count. They don't. That's a pain in the arse. PvP in this game can be turned off from what I can tell, because there was an option for it. Let me bring it up. Is it in here? Nope. Is it in here? Nope. There's an option for PvP somewhere, I just can't remember where the hell it is. But yeah, let's go through some of these. These are basically the extended options. So you have chat log, which is, as you'd expect, it's basically controlled under this. So you can enable chat channels, you can change the font size, enable/disable profanity filter, which I thought I had turned off. Timestamp channel labels, usual sort of stuff. I think you can customize them more specifically here. Yeah, lock chat window, format the channel settings, create more channels. So combat log, similar sort of thing, tells or allows you to select what combat actions to include in your combat log, which I believe is that one there. Oops. HUD enables and disables particular in-game elements. So left secondary action bar is this here. You can't actually bind actions to it so far as I can tell. In fact, let me just try. I've been working on the assumption that you can't, and I just detached that, put it back. There we go. I've been working on the assumption that you probably can't because these are supposed to be your skill slots. So yeah, I'm almost certain that you shouldn't be able to, just for the simple reason that, so like this has a plus next to it and I can't really add it because it then removes one of my other ones. So yeah, you can't add these to your secondary action bars. Your secondary action bars, path ability, can't go down there. Leave. It's probably just for binding items to, if nothing else. So sort of like adding these down to here. So yeah, that's what they're there for. So I have them disabled because they're not really that much use. XP should always be on. I have no idea why it turned itself off. So you can see here I've got 2 different sets of XP. This one is for my settler, my path XP, and this one is just my character's XP. Mount button should always be on, but I don't have a mount, so it's actually hidden. And then health text, that sort of thing. Interface is similar sort of thing, so you can just configure some interface options here. So you've got UI scale, tooltip delay, so how long tooltips wait until they appear. Sticky targeting, show interaction icons in the world, so that's basically the Pathfinder icon, or not the Pathfinder, the settler icons and the I think my recording's messing with my camera speed. Camera rotate speed, because it keeps zooming around like no one's business. So yeah. That one there, show interaction icons in the world, hides these, or the cogs that you'll see around some things. Key binding is self-explanatory, it's key binding. Nameplates, again, self-explanatory. Allows you to enable and disable different nameplates and different icons in world. Target information that you can add and show. And then tutorials, all of them are listed here. So, let's see if these guys have respawned so we can hand this quest in, and then I may have to end the video there because I've not got in far enough to have it look much beyond that. I really think this game is probably, well, it's an MMO, but I reckon this game will probably start opening up a lot more once you start getting to group combat, because then the combat system, the positioning system, will really come into its own. Because yeah, if I just like basic attack this person here, and I just hold down my basic attack, then they're just going to keep doing normal attacks on me. And I can walk around those big attacks.
Double kill.
But yeah, for the most part, they're just still going to hit me anyway.
What is it? Your efforts have earned my esteem.
So yeah, that's basically the basics of certainly the earlier part of this game. As I said, I've really not got into it far enough to be able to comment on the more advanced aspects of the game. And I shouldn't have taken that on because that's a stronger enemy. Ouch. I think I ate that. Not the worst one I've taken on. Those are an icon that tells you how strong enemies are. So it's actually underneath their character icons. So if I select that guy over there, this one here, challenge, this creature is ranked near your equal. So he's a challenge, he will not annihilate me, but he will present me with a challenge. Those guys up there, these guys here, probably listed as... he's listed as a challenge as well. Can I find another one of those birds? Because those birds were significantly stronger than me. There's one. Prime. This creature is ranked very strong. So, I don't think they're quite what you'd class as an elite, because you can still solo them pretty easily. But they are certainly stronger monsters. And then you also have more monsters that are more on the level of boss monsters, like that guy over there. Superior, this is ranked as strong, so again, much heavier creature, harder to take down. I do have a quest over here to do, or kill a Dark Bite, which I tried to solo and failed. I could probably do it, but he kind of owned me. But he's all the way away, so I can't really do it now. I just did another 180 again. It must be the fact I'm recording that's messing with my frame rate and is just making my mouse go a bit doolappy. But yeah, the game certainly has promise, but unfortunately it feels like it lacks polish at the moment. It's got a lot of content in it, and they say they've got raid content for 2.5 or 1.5 years. But of course, I'm nowhere near raid content. But yeah, there's a decent amount of content here, certainly, even up to level 13. I think there's 50 levels as per standard for an MMO. But yeah, it's decent fun. They really need to sort out the graphics performance. I really can't see why I should be getting 30 frames per second here. It makes no sense at all. It could just be negative performance from my SLI system, in which case they need to get SLI sorted and get that sorted with NVIDIA. But yeah, the game feels like it lacks a little bit of polish, but it certainly is promising. The combat system looks like it can be, or looks like it'll be really good, particularly in the raids and like multi-group fights. PvP should be interesting, although I tend not to take part in it. Why does that say 3? I only have 2 action points. There's a little number down here next to my action set builder. It said 3 a second ago, or maybe I was just reading it wrong. But yeah, sorry. Anyway, yeah, the game definitely looks like it has promise. They need to get the performance sorted though before I can actually recommend it, because 35 at the moment while recording is not great. It's playable, don't get me wrong, but while I'm actually in game, I can actually show you how little the graphics options affect things. So let's put this down to ultra low because it keeps setting it low. Nothing. Dynamic shadows off. Yeah, there's a few frames per second there. It's about 5 extra frames per second for turning shadows off. Put it back on again. Texture filtering, bilinear, nothing. Texture quality, low. 3 frames per second, maybe 4. Just for lowering the texture quality as low as it will go. Cluster density, low. Next to nothing. Small object density, low. Next to nothing. Render resolution, low. But that's a decent amount, but look at that. That's just horrible. And surface material quality low. Few frames per second as well. So I have a 680 GTX 680. Even if I'm running on a single one, which I'm fairly sure SLI isn't working, I tried to force it on, but I don't think it's having any effect. I should be getting better frame rates than 30 frames per second for what it's rendering at the moment. So they need to sort their optimization out. But yeah, I've hopped on about that enough. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. As I said, it's going to be a subscription model. I'm not sure how much subscription will be. It's probably going to be par for the course, I would imagine. I doubt they're going to overcharge for it. It would make no sense. The combat system's certainly interesting, and I can only speak from my spell slinger, but it is definitely an interesting system, and it definitely has a lot of flexibility behind it. So yeah, I'm interested to see where it'll go. I'm not sure if I'll pick it up just because I don't really have much time at the moment for an MMO. The MMO or the game should come out in a couple of weeks. I think it's 2 weeks from now it comes out. You can pre-order it now if you really want to. You'll get access to the head start and be able to reserve your names and such. But yeah, I think I will leave it there. That just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. And as always, I will see you next time.